Hey, welcome. I'm back, and we are in our textbook Adobe Illustrator CS6 with CC Enhancements by Tony Toland and Anessa Hartman, and we're working in Chapter 7, starting to work with type. Now, in Chapter 7, the goals are to first of all, practice 3 different methods for creating type in Illustrator. You can type at point, you can type in an area, or you can type on a path. We're going to take a look at some of the quirkiness of typefaces, font families, and font formats. We're going to work on formatting type and learn how to do it with skill. Just get a basic overview of what to know when importing, exporting, installing, and embedding fonts. And then talk a little bit about basic design techniques when choosing and working with font and type layouts, and then become a little bit more familiar with typography terminology. And again, remember, this is just an introductory software class, so much more to talk about and learn on all of those subjects, but at least we're getting a little bit of taste of it in this class. All right, creating type in Illustrator. There are 3 different ways to create type, either at a point, in an area, or on a path. And so I'm going to X out of this. I'll just open up a new file. And if I wanted to just create type at a point, you get the type tool, click once on your artboard, and you can start typing. That's not the way in InDesign. You can do that in Photoshop as well. But again, all you have to do is place your cursor on the artboard and begin to type. Now, the second way to create type is typing in an area. If you want to type in an area, you would need to change the type tool and select the area type tool. And let's say we had an area like, I'll get a basic shape up here and then we'll type in that area. The area type tool. You're going to click on the area that you want to type. I'm going to decrease the size of that typeface. And hopefully that's working. I can't even see it, but let's go down here a bit. This is just an old type statement that we used to have to work with when we were practicing typing in the ancient times. I'm going to just copy this, Command copy it, and then I'm going to paste it so you can see what it looks like if you are typing within an area type. Now this is nice on this side but not so nice on that side, so I might change the type alignment if I were doing something like this and change it to centered, but again, this is, I'll zoom out so we can see what typing in an area is like. It takes a lot of type manipulation to make sure that it works and that it's readable, but it's certainly doable. And then the next one is to type on a path. You want to get a type on a path tool. This vertical type tool is available to you. I never use these. This really does not support very good readability, so I seldom, if ever, would work with these. But I do work with type on a path tool, so I'm going to demo that as well. And in order to type on a path, you of course first have to have a path that you're working with. So I'm just going to get my pencil tool and I'm going to create kind of a curved path. I'm going to get the type on a path tool, click on that path, or hopefully. And there you go. And of course it started in the middle of the path because I still had it set on align center. It would have started off to the end had I had it left aligned, or the other end if I'd had it right aligned. But again, typing on a path, 3 different ways to create type in Illustrator. Now you can format type. In fact, if you work at being a graphic designer, you're going to need to learn to format type effectively, and learning to use this character panel is a good start. We're going to go to Window and we're going to bring up Type and Character, and this will bring up the character panel. I'm going to show options. And then you'll see that, and you'll see this in your textbook as well. I'm going to just zoom in a little bit so you can see this as we go through it. The character panel, and I rarely work with this touch type tool, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but anyway, I'm going to turn that off and get back to the lesson at hand, which is what are we doing with the, oh my gosh, just a minute. All right, turn that off. There we go. All right. The typeface or font family is, you have a down facing arrow. If you click on that, you'll see a myriad of typefaces that you can use and choose. Depending on what you have on your system, you can also go out and download different ones at a free or paid for font download site. This is the style. Again, depending on whether or not you want it to be, oh, let's see. It only has a regular, oh, it has bold, so you can change the style. Normally the styles are italic, bold, maybe bold italic, maybe, you know, I can go in and choose one that's got a variety of different, let's see, Baskerville, for example. It's got italic, semi-bold, semi-bold italic, bold, bold italic, and Baskerville old-face. Have all of those options for styles within that particular typeface. This is the size of the type. This is the leading, which is the space between the lines, baseline to baseline. So instead of double spacing or triple spacing like we used to do in the old type days, now we set the type by leading. This is kerning, which is the space between two characters. You can make it closer, further apart, depending on what you're doing with your design. Or you can set it for optical kerning. This is tracking, which is the same as kerning. It's the spacing of letter forms, either closer or further apart, but it's a selected group of letter forms rather than just one or two. With kerning, if you just click between one, let me zoom in here. And you'll see the cursor between P and L. And if I wanted to increase the space between those, I just hit the up arrow. And you'll see the space between P and L. Then tracking is a selected number of letter forms or words. And you change the spacing or tracking that way. This is a vertical stress, horizontal scale, baseline shift, whether or not it's sitting on the baseline or below the baseline or above the baseline, character rotation, all caps, small caps, superscript, subscript, underline, strike through. So again, same options that you've been used to working with in maybe another word processing software, but more as well. And then the paragraph alignment gives you the alignment options, and then you can do a left indent for all of your paragraphs. You can do a first line left indent if you choose to identify that as your paragraph changes, space before, space after, and then this is doing a right or left indent. So for example, if I had that paragraph highlighted, I'm going to left align it, and then I am going to move it in from the left margin, and you can see how that works. And then also in from the right margin. Maybe I'm going to do justified, which actually looks kind of nice in this kind of a format. And then I would want to move that in 4 points as well. And then first a space before paragraph, how much space you want before each paragraph, so on and so forth. And that's the paragraph. And there are a lot more options as well, but I'm not going to get into, like there's Roman hanging punctuation, so on and so forth. And I'm going to wait for another time and place to talk about that. Okay, let's get over here. And as we've just discussed, the fonts are full set of printing type or printed on screen characters of the same design. A font family is a group of similarly designed font sets like Arial Black or Arial Italic. So again, I'm looking at your font or your character panel. That's the font, and then the font styles are here. Font copyright. Font copyright is, fonts are just like any other design or artwork. The copyright belongs to the originator or the designer or the creator of that font. Some are okay to use without restriction, others are restricted. And normally you want to just use fonts that you've purchased or have come with your system. If you link a font, you're borrowing that font from another saving place, just like with linking an image, or you can embed it just like with images and make it a part of that file size and file format as well. Font formats. Type 1 is a resolution independent digital font type. It can translate a font from the screen to a high quality font and print. And these are primarily used by graphic designers whose work specifically goes to print. So if you go here, you'll see these little indications. This is a TrueType font, for example. TrueType font is the standard for digital type fonts. And then OpenType is right here. You'll see this little O, and that's an extension of the TrueType font technology. Cross-platform compatible, supports expanded character sets and languages, and that's typically what we work in today. And then we're going to create a recipe card. This is a hands-on experience creating type and applying formatting options. Designing with type, like color, type evokes a look and a feel. You can get a very impactful type, heavy and strong, and send that message, or very feminine, sophisticated, lightweight, airy, very unique ability to evoke looks and feels with just a typeface selection. Typography, things that you need to consider for readability: spacing and alignment, the line length, leading, kerning, tracking, and justification. Those all impact the ability for your client to read and understand your type and the way it's set. And then in addition, a big issue is font selection and size. You need to make sure that you're choosing the best font and the best size for the job at hand. In summary, we won't make you sit through that. So that's it for chapter 7. If you have questions, I'm going to just demo a real brief start to your lesson, and then I'll be available for additional demos as you choose. I'll be back in just a moment.